Welcome to Faithful Storybook. Today we're answering a question Sunday school never prepared us for. Could Noah actually fit a T-Rex on the ark? Grab your measuring tape, because this is about to get prehistoric.
Number. Could Noah fit a T-Rex inside the ark? Imagine you're Noah. You've built an enormous wooden ark. The elephants are aboard. The giraffes are aboard. The sheep are aboard. Everything is going surprisingly well. Then you hear it. Thump, thump, thump. You slowly look toward the boarding ramp, and standing there is a Tyrannosaurus Rex, about 40 feet long, several tons, huge teeth, tiny arms, and absolutely no reservation. Suddenly, Noah has a very important question. Where am I supposed to put that? Today we're going to investigate one of the strangest questions you can ask about Noah's Ark. Could Noah actually fit a T-Rex inside? And once we start doing the math, the answer gets surprisingly interesting. Let's start with the ark itself. Genesis describes the ark as approximately 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. Exactly how long a biblical cubit was can vary depending on the measurement used. But using a commonly cited estimate of about 18 inches gives us an ark roughly 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 45 feet high. And it had 3 decks. So, we're not talking about a little wooden fishing boat. This thing was enormous. Imagine a giant floating wooden structure stretching roughly the length of 1.5 football fields. Now place Noah at the entrance holding a clipboard. Sheep? Check. Goats? Check. T-Rex? We're going to need a bigger clipboard. Now meet our contestant, Tyrannosaurus Rex. An adult T-Rex could reach roughly 40 feet in length and weigh several tons. So, technically, yes, a T-Rex could physically fit inside a structure 450 feet long. That's not even close. You could theoretically line up multiple T-Rexes nose to tail along the ark's length. But that's like saying, can a horse fit inside your house? Technically, probably. Would you enjoy the experience? Absolutely not. Because fitting through the door isn't the real problem. You need room for the animal to stand, turn around, rest, eat, and preferably avoid eating the other passengers, especially Larry the goat. Larry has been through enough, and now things get worse, because we're not talking about one Tyrannosaurus. Under the familiar ark scenario, we'd potentially need 2. Meet Rex and Mrs. Rex. Congratulations, Noah. Your floating zoo now contains thousands of pounds of prehistoric predator. Imagine the conversation. Where should we put the T-Rexes? Oh, next to the sheep? No. Next to the cattle? Definitely no. Next to Noah? Why do you hate Noah? So perhaps they get their own reinforced enclosure. But now we have another problem. Food. A large carnivorous dinosaur would potentially require a substantial amount of food, and the ark has to carry provisions for the voyage, which creates the world's worst catering problem. You've got hay, grain, fruit, vegetables, animal feed, and then, whatever you're serving the tyrannosaurs. Imagine Noah walking through the ark at feeding time. 2 buckets for the goats, 1 basket for the rabbits, 3 bundles for the elephants. Then he arrives at the T-Rex enclosure. Silence. The T-Rex stares at him. Noah stares back. Have you considered becoming vegetarian? T-Rex. Roa R. I'll take that as a no. But there's another possibility that changes this entire experiment. Here's where our ridiculous question becomes genuinely interesting. If someone were trying to transport animals while minimizing space, would they choose the biggest adults available? Of course not. You'd choose younger, smaller animals whenever possible. And dinosaurs started life much smaller than their full-grown adult size. Even enormous dinosaurs hatched from eggs. So our imaginary ark passenger doesn't necessarily have to be a 40-foot adult T-Rex. It could theoretically be a juvenile. Suddenly, Noah isn't staring at a monster the size of a bus. He's staring at a much smaller dinosaur. Still dangerous. Still probably terrible at following instructions, but considerably easier to house. This changes the space calculation dramatically. Imagine Noah watching 2 juvenile T-Rexes walk aboard. Oh, they're smaller than I expected. Mrs. Noah looks at him. They're going to grow. Noah pauses. Nobody asked you. Now we encounter the biggest misconception in this whole thought experiment. If dinosaurs were included, would Noah need two of every dinosaur species scientists have ever named? That would be a logistical nightmare. T-Rex, Triceratops, Stegosaurus, Brachiosaurus, Velociraptor, Ankylosaurus, and hundreds more. At some point, Noah would just stand on the deck screaming, "Woo invited the paleontologists," but Genesis doesn't use the modern biological concept of species. It speaks about animals according to their kinds. How exactly biblical kinds would correspond to modern scientific classification is debated, so you can't simply take the number of named dinosaur species and automatically conclude that every one requires its own pair. For our thought experiment, that means the number of dinosaur passengers depends entirely on what qualifies as a separate kind. And that number, we don't actually know. So anybody giving you a perfectly precise number here is making assumptions, but we can still test the basic geometry. Let's return to the Ark. 3 decks, hundreds of feet long, thousands of square feet of deck space. Now imagine dividing that interior into pens. Small animals get small enclosures. Medium animals get medium enclosures. Large animals get larger spaces. And the dinosaurs? Juveniles whenever practical. Suddenly the image changes. Instead of Noah trying to squeeze a full-grown Brachiosaurus through a wooden doorway, we're imagining much younger animals occupying dramatically less space. Although there's still one dinosaur I'd hate to manage, Triceratops, because sooner or later somebody is going to say, "Noah, the Triceratops put another hole in the wall." And Noah will respond, "Which wall?" "The outside one." Everybody get a hammer. Here's the surprising part. When people imagine dinosaurs on Noah's Ark, they usually think the biggest problem is physical space. But that's probably not the most interesting challenge. The harder questions involve logistics. How do you store enough food? How do you distribute water? How do you remove waste? How do you keep animals separated? How do you ventilate the interior? How much daily care would all these animals require? Those questions become far more complicated than simply asking, can a T-Rex fit through the door? Because yes, a 40-foot animal can physically exist inside a 450-foot-long structure. The difficult part is keeping everything alive and manageable for an extended voyage. Basically, the Ark isn't primarily a geometry problem. It's a zookeeper's worst Monday morning. Of course, we can't discuss dinosaurs without addressing the most important safety issue: Velociraptors. Real velociraptors were much smaller than the oversized movie versions most people imagine, which sounds reassuring. Until you realize that smaller animals can fit through smaller openings. Noah hears scratching outside his cabin. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Who's there? Silence. He opens the door. Nothing. Looks left. Nothing. Looks right. Nothing. Then slowly looks down. Tiny dinosaur. Noah closes the door. Locks it, adds another lock, pushes a table against it. Mrs. Noah asks, "What's wrong?" Noah whispers, "It knows how doors work." So let's answer our original question. Could Noah physically fit a T-Rex inside the Ark described in Genesis, based purely on dimensions? Yes, easily. An adult T-Rex is enormous compared with us, but surprisingly small compared with a structure roughly 450 feet long. The more interesting question is whether full-grown adults would even be necessary. If younger dinosaurs were transported instead, their space requirements could be dramatically smaller. But this doesn't scientifically prove that dinosaurs were aboard Noah's Ark, and it doesn't settle debates about the flood, dinosaur history, biblical interpretation, or ancient animal classification. This is simply a fun engineering thought experiment, and that's what makes the question so fascinating. Sometimes an absurd question forces us to actually examine the numbers. But there's one final problem nobody talks about. After months aboard the Ark, the waters finally recede. The doors open. The animals walk onto dry land. The sheep leave. The elephants leave. The giraffes leave. Then the T-Rex walks down the ramp. Noah smiles. "We did it." His family cheers. Then Noah looks around. There are animals everywhere. The T-Rex looks around too. Noah's smile disappears. He slowly turns toward his family. Maybe we should have let him off last. So what do you think? If dinosaurs were aboard Noah's Ark, which one would have been the absolute worst passenger? T-Rex, Triceratops, Velociraptor, or something even bigger? Tell me in the comments. And if you want more strange Bible questions investigated with science, history, animation, and just a little bit of chaos, like the video and subscribe to Faithful Storybook. Because next time, we might need to figure out exactly how Noah cleaned this place. And frankly, I don't think we're ready.
Well, Noah's passenger list just became a lot more interesting. Whether you're fascinated by the Bible, dinosaurs, or just really strange questions nobody thought to ask in Sunday school, I hope you had fun exploring this one with us. Now, I want to hear from you. If Noah had dinosaurs aboard the ark, which dinosaur would cause the biggest problem? Tell us in the comments. And if you enjoyed this adventure, please like the video, subscribe to Faithful Storybook, and join us for another amazing journey through the Bible. Until next time, keep asking big questions, keep exploring God's Word, and maybe keep the T-Rex away from the snack room.